Hi everyone, Benji here. It is good to have you. So today we're talking about what is one of the most important. This is by far actually the most important thing to consider when you're creating content online and when you're building your tribe, finding your audience and creating content for that audience. And that is simply the importance of framing your story, framing your narrative. Because the reality is anyone who enters your tribe, anyone who comes in contact with you, watches a video of you, or reads an article that you wrote, they're going to ask the question, either consciously or subconsciously, they're going to ask the question, why is this person sharing this content? What is this person's motivation? Which makes your why and your reason, your motivation for creating your content extremely important. And this is very important to do early on, as soon as you can, before you even start sharing content, because it comes off very strongly in your video and your content, especially if you're on video, especially on YouTube, which I really encourage everyone to do. Everyone should be on YouTube. It's very easy to do. I have tons of video tutorials I'm going to put down below that I'll mention that really walk you through the process of actually going from I don't know how to do any of this to actually like, okay, this seems possible, right? So your why is incredibly important when you're creating on content, regardless if you're doing YouTube, if you're creating a blog, if you're creating content for your audience on social media. Your narrative is your why, because it's all about authenticity, especially when it comes to YouTube. When you're looking at someone on camera or in the eye, if you just feel, even especially for me, if I feel someone is being inauthentic, or they're just trying to make money off of me, or they're trying to get me to join a course or anything like that, it's a big turnoff, and I don't want to do it. For example, for this video channel that you're watching right now, my entire narrative, if you haven't noticed, is I'm not trying to make any money. I'm not selling any courses. I'm just providing free content for you because I'm trying to help you to create more wholesome and helpful content to spread throughout the internet, because I really believe that this is the only way that we're going to change the internet and the trajectory that we're going with all the big tech that are currently controlling the narrative, is that we have to create content from ourselves and share our own beliefs and build our tribes from the ground up. So that's my narrative, right? And that's very clear. And I try to make that as clear as possible. And I'm sharing that because it's important for you to also frame your narrative to why you're sharing this kind of content and what you hope to gain. So I'm going to talk briefly in this video about how to frame your narrative, and specifically I'll give you some examples of certain individuals that I'm helping develop their own YouTube channels and create their own content for their tribes, right? So that's first of all, the important question to ask yourself is, why are you doing this? And this is important to have a clear motivation, regardless of what it may be. Some of you, it might be that you want to help people. Some of you, it might be because you want to earn an income, which is perfectly feasible and perfectly fine. It's not a selfish thing to do, but it's important to frame your narrative in a way that people can be clear and understand the main mission. You might have an internal purpose for doing it, but your mission should be, I know that sounds really cheesy, but your mission of your channel should be really clear. Even if your purpose is to make an income, or your purpose is to whatever it may be, become a famous person, your mission can be clear. It's like, my mission is to help you individuals share your story and frame your story because you don't know how, or you don't feel confident, and I'm trying to help you feel the confidence and let you know that it is entirely possible. So that's kind of the mission of what I'm doing, but my underlying mission is I'm trying to change the internet. Like, I don't like what most people are sharing online nowadays, and I think it's a lot of garbage, and I just think we can create better content, and it starts from us sharing just more beautiful stories and personal experiences and faith-based stuff. So so for you, in your context, finding your mission is the first step. What is the mission? You can even write it down. Take a moment just to think, what is the mission of my venture, of my content, and what am I really driving in the long haul? Think 2 years from now. You can think longer in the future, but really, when you're creating content, think of it as a 2-year period, 24 months. What is my mission? What do I want to accomplish here? And just make that, and just drive that home every time you turn on the camera, every time you write an article. Just make that really clear. And so, for example, you could say that, your internal purpose is to share your faith, to share, in a religious context, if you want to share your faith. If you in another context, if you have this is a really good way to approach it. If you have something that changed your life, if you have an experience that changed your life, if you have a certain belief system that changed your life, if you have a certain relationship with a spouse or a partner or a child that really changed and shaped, if you had just a life-changing experience, or if you know something that you wish you knew back when you were searching or asking questions, that's a really important narrative. Is, hey guys, I have this I have this experience, it changed my life, and whatever it may be, and I just cannot sit still anymore. I have to share this because I know other people are out there asking the same questions that I had, and if there's anything I can do to help you, that's what I want to do. That is a beautiful narrative, and I wish we had more content like that. So I'm so grateful for you for stepping up to the plate and framing your narrative in that sense, all right? So a few examples of people. So one example would be actually a few young individuals that I'm working with who are teenagers and early 20s, who want to frame their story about how they saved their sexuality, saved their purity for marriage, and they wanted to have their first sexual experience with their wife, their future wife. So their narrative is that I'm trying to help them frame is that, hey guys, I have been saving my sexual purity for my whole life. It's been very challenging. If you're in the same boat, I empathize with you. I have compassion with you. I want to help you get through this and see the especially if you're younger than me, like you're a teenager and you're going through all the things that teenagers are going through, right? This is a beautiful narrative to have in this case, right? Is that I'm trying to help people who went through the same thing that I went through and answer all the big questions that people have about, specifically about keeping their sexual purity in that context, right? That's just one example. Another example is kind of a similar vein. An older gentleman in his 60s who wants to create a YouTube channel about how to overcome pornography, a porn addiction, a porn habit. As an older man, it's kind of a very specific issue that older men deal with that they maybe don't find a lot of support. It's kind of taboo to talk about. So he wants to help older men specifically go through all the questions that they have. And so his narrative is, hey guys, I have been through this. And I know it's really hard right now. It's really affecting your marriage. It's affecting your family. It's affecting your work, your addiction. And I have been there and I've seen the end of the tunnel, and it is possible for you. And after I overcame my porn habit, my life changed, my marriage changed, everything about my life changed as soon as I just decided to be open about it and share about it. And that is a beautiful narrative as well that you can help people do. So you can kind of get into the mind into my mind what I'm thinking, right? It's the list goes on and on of examples that you can use of people who have a beautiful story, a life-changing experience, anything at all. It could be really abstract, like a religious belief, or it could be a very specific thing, like a experience you had, or it could be like a medical related thing, like your child had this disease or whatever, or you had this issue and you overcame it, whatever it may be. You have that story that only you have, and there are people that have at least 1,000 of them. There are probably more, like tens or hundreds of thousands of people out there that have the same thing that you or want the same thing that you have and you've overcome, especially if you've overcome it. If you've had challenge, that's another approach. If you've had challenges in your life, for example, my wife and I, like I'll talk openly, right, about my wife and I. We've been married for the last 10 plus, over 10 years now. We have 2 children. We have gone through a lot of ups and downs, as almost any couple who's been married for more than a few years has been through. And I talk openly about the difficult challenges that my wife and I have been through, the differences that we have in terms of our culture and the different backgrounds that we come from. But at the end of the day, we grew through a lot of it. We talked a lot of it out, and we have what I think is a really beautiful relationship, and we're continuing to grow into a better and better, more loving spouse to each other and to our children. So that's a narrative as well that I often portray in my personal life. Is I help men and women prepare well for marriage, because I don't want them to have the same mindset that I had when I went to marriage, which was really limiting and self-centered and selfish. And it was like, I'm trying to help you guys overcome your habits, your addictions, your mental limitations, your emotional problems, your anger issues before you get into marriage, because that's what I didn't have, or I didn't really address. And I don't want you to go through the same thing, because I've been there and I can help you. So that's my narrative when I'm helping those people. And I do that a lot with my own personal work, line of work. But anyways, the list goes on, moms. So try to frame your narrative. I think I kind of pigeonholed the examples in this video to more, like regarding marriage and sexuality and stuff like that. That just happens to be my line of work. Honestly, this is what I do professionally. So it could be on whatever topic you want. Just the sky's the limit. The point is, just put it on paper, write it down, make a mission for yourself. This is your mission. And when you do that, guys, what is so exciting is you will be on fire. You will be so excited to share content with your tribe, to share stuff. Just start your channel, YouTube channel, start your blog, and just put it on Facebook. Be like, hey guys, I started this new thing. Put it on groups. Just tell people about it. And what's really exciting is that Google and YouTube, they will find your content. People will search for your content and they will find it if you follow the methods that I'm teaching right here on this channel. So I'm going to put a full video right down below, a full lengthy in-step tutorial about how to get started from A to Z to build your tribe online. So I'm sure that'll be really helpful for you. I really hope it is. So if this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up so that more people can find it and spread it like that, because that's how it works, right? All right. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Take care.